welcome for the latest instalment of RedArmy TV. I'm off the bench. I've been sidelined for a few weeks because Mark's a bully and he keeps pushing me to one side and threatening to knack me, but it's him who's got the knack today, so that's fine. So on the bench and sitting there with us, well, two good-looking guys. Matt Bland, he of social media fame and all the sort of stuff in the back here, and Chris Longhouse, fellow flat person. How are you, mate?
Fine, thank you. Yeah.
What's this, Brooklyn, New York? Haven't you got one like Better Girls Borough?
I have. Yeah. It's a bit too small for me though.
All right.
Come the cup final, I think I was a boys large.
We're going to, talking Better Girls, we're going to dive headfirst into the baths about the transfer window and the loan window. But before we do, quick mention of Leeds, which will come on in the second half. But tremendous display. I know you were overcome with Stella Artois, but it was a tremendous display at Elland Road, wasn't it?
It was a brilliant game, and I'm going to pull the phrase out. Phil's behind camera, probably shaking his head at me. It was the irresistible force against the immovable object in Leeds and Middlesbrough. It was. I'm on one tonight. It was two different styles of football that kind of cancelled each other out, but still made for a very entertaining game.
Irresistible, immovable. It's sounding far too scientific, man. Come on, we'll talk butter.
He's gone down the Russell Brand route, wasn't he? Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah, it was good. Good end-to-end stuff. I mean, even if you say Borough got a goal, Leeds probably would have equalised. It was one of them type of matches. There was no team going to win that game at all. It was going to be either level pegging, no matter how many goals we're going to get banged in.
They wouldn't have scored in a month of Wednesdays, I'm telling you. But more on that very shortly. First and foremost, the deadline window is shut now for loan. The loan deadline window has shut now. Let's before we get letters, let's just be precise on that. We can dig into it. You know, Sam McQueen, Danny Bass, George Saville coming in, Johnson, Dessart, McGinley, etc. going out. Decent. We had a horrific permanent window.
Yeah.
Decent loan, not decent loan, what do you reckon?
Well, impressed with a couple of the names that have come in. George Saville, to me, he's a name that I know, but I don't know too much about him as a player. I don't know whether he's a creative midfielder, a combative midfielder, a bit of both. But I'm quite looking forward with the reputation that he's got to seeing him in a Middlesbrough shirt. But Danny Batt, he's played a hell of a lot of games that I didn't realise. He's you know, Phil made a great point on Monday night that he was actually, we believe he was named Wolves captain. But they've let him go. So it's a bit of a strange one. Obviously, he's an established player in his own right. So again, what he's going to bring to the squad, I'm quite interested to see.
What do you make of it, the dealing?
Well, there's been, to be honest, there's been a bit of a not kind of let down really for the Borough. I mean, Pulis has made some hard choices in the transfers we've got in. I think they'll probably do well and fit in quite well with the Borough. I mean, you're saying Saville, he scored about 10 goals in some like 40-odd appearances he did for Millwall. So, you know, and the others have come as well, Bath and everyone. I don't know, I think we've got rid of some good players, but I think he's brought maybe some equal players back in.
I mean, the interesting one for me is Neil Harris's comments about Saville going out, saying it was an offer they couldn't refuse. He cost them 350 grand a year ago, and now he's gone for millions and millions. Have we been done on that, or is that what can happen in footy?
Well, I think that's what can happen with footy, really, isn't it? I mean, you look at Bamford. He came to us from Chelsea, and he wasn't getting play at all. And when they brought me, he was banging the goals in left, right, and centre. And then when he started to play again last season, he was doing just the same. So it was kind of a bit of a downer that he decided to go to Leeds. But I think it's just the way the game goes, isn't it? You can have your best players, and it can still be palmed off to another team. Just depends on the manager and the club.
Do you read anything into Harris's words, or is that just typical of Millwall?
From a business point of view, business perspective, it's a hell of a deal. And as you said, he's come out himself and he said he couldn't turn it down. Whether that will equate to value for money in a Middlesbrough shirt, the only way you're going to know is once you see him play. I probably wasn't the only person that hadn't heard of Mo Bezic before he came on loan, and then he came and he was a revelation. So hopefully it's another, you know, similar situation in that he comes, people don't really know too much about him, and then he's brilliant.
Oh, what a performance he put in at Leeds, but more on that in the second half of the show. Where do we stand, in your eyes, Matt, now? Both windows have shut. Not an awful lot happened with the first one. A little bit more happened with the second one. Are we stronger on balance now than we were at the end of last season? Or where do you see us on the old scales?
To be honest, I think we're going to do much better than last season. I mean,
why?
You just look at the strength. Some of the players that have gone now have give space for the likes of Braithwaite, and the goals are going in. We're unbeaten at the moment. We've played 6 games, we're unbeaten, and we're second in the league. You know, compared to last season, I think kind of Pulis knew what he was doing, and even though the fans would think we're shitting their heads, I think we've got a good strong team to keep us up there in the top flight.
Are we better now, Chris, than we were, or not?
Are
we stronger?
I think
are
the
we
answer
more skillful? Are we? I don't know. Where do you see us?
I don't quite know the answer to that question because on paper we're performing. Sorry.
There were 8 questions there.
Yeah, there was quite a few. Yeah. I'll come back to you on the others, but yeah, on paper we are performing fantastically well, and you know there's no taking away from that. But I still think that the fact that we've lost Gibson at the moment, Fry's performing fantastically well. Whether they're a like for like swap, I don't know. We've lost Bamford. We haven't really brought anyone in up front, but obviously Braithwaite's come back from his loan spell abroad. So again, you could argue we're not as strong in that particular position, or you could argue that we are. It's still a bit of a grey area, that question for me. For me, I don't think we're as strong.
Braithwaite's an interesting one, fellas. Openly said I want to be away. It's not the first time we've heard similar words from him while he's been here at the Borough. But he has been told to knuckle down, windows are closing, and he's going to hang around a bit. What do you make of it all?
Well, do you know what? I think if he's done right to get his head down, he's getting the goals in, he's doing his job despite him openly saying he wants to go. Pulis has probably given him, maybe he's an incentive, we don't know what's been said behind closed doors to give him that, you know, incentive to keep his head down and just keep playing. So it's quite mixed. So we don't know what could happen in January if he, you know, with the transfers then, or he could stay at the end of the season. It's up to him really if he wants to stay or go.
He's on a long deal, Chris, but we saw, let's go back to the days of Emerson does the samba. You know, basically, it was Keith Lamb saying, we'll lock him in the reserves and he can rot.
Yeah.
Braithwaite's performing though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Do you expect that to continue?
I do, and I was surprised when the rumours first came out that he might be wanting to, you know, itching for a move away. I think I even said on one of the Monday night shows that I didn't believe it because he hadn't been playing like a player that wanted to leave. But while he's here and he's in a red shirt, he seems to be performing, and obviously I want to see that continue. If he does well and we end up achieving promotion and he does leave at the end of the season, fine, just go with my best wishes. Yeah, exactly, go with my best wishes.
What would you do if you were Tony Pulis? Would you have done the same? Would you have said to him, look mate, nobody's coming for you, get here,
do your best?
Yeah, or would you have just kicked him up the backside and let him rot in the reserves? Well, there isn't reserves now, is there? But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well,
figuratively.
He's a professional, isn't he? So while he's here, he's being paid, he should be expected to do a job, and he is doing the job. As you said, he's performing well, he's banging the goals in. So I think from Braithwaite's point of view, it's disappointing to hear that he does want to leave, but while he's here, you can't fault the effort that he's putting in at the moment.
Especially when so many players have shown that they want to leave and they haven't put the effort in at all.
Ramirez.
Yeah. Wasn't mentioning any names, but yeah. But that situation, so it's good to see a player who has openly said he wants to go, but he is knuckling down and doing well for the team.
Do you expect the same Braithwaite when he gets back into the side as opposed to the one that played before getting dropped against Leeds? Because a lot's happened then. He's been sat out from a game. Also, transfer windows have shut and he knows he's got to stay now. Do you expect to see the same player?
I would, yeah, because he's proven that already. So I think he will perform.
You could argue he was playing for a move, couldn't you?
Well, you could, yeah. But I think if he's going to keep his loyalty, it's going to be with the Borough, with the team he's with now. And obviously, he says he's getting the pay packet. He should be performing well with getting more goals for us and just keeping his ambitions up for the team, really.
Quick question on those who've gone out. Johnson's gone to Sheffield United. The guy whose name I can't pronounce, Mahumatovic, has gone to Yeovil. Dessart's off to Belgium, where he's from, of course, McGinley, Forest Green, Rovers. Is there anything in there that concerns you? Should we have kept hold of Marvin? Marvellous Marvin?
There's nothing in there that particularly concerns me, other than general squad depth. Mahumatovic, obviously, he's played a couple of cup games. I think he scored against Notts County, he played against Rochdale, and then left subsequently later in the week. So clearly he's good enough to be sort of in and around the fringes of the first team. The same with Marvin Johnson as well. Johnson and Fletcher for me are two players I'm desperate to see do well. Whether they will or not, I don't know. That's way out of my hands.
Some Christmas on that one.
Yeah.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to talk Leeds very shortly. We're going to take a quick break for the telly. But we'll talk Leeds. Also a reminder, we've got a coach going to Hull. I know the tickets went on sale this week. So we'll give you more details in the second part of the show as well about the coach, the Red Army coach, going to Hull. We'll catch you shortly after this.
Thoughts on the game? Yeah, thought it was alright. Good result away from home, 0-0. Can't complain, can we?
It was a good away point. Probably could have took more shots. Maybe got a goal, but good point away. Maybe made more subs as well. But get some fresh air. Get what you can.
Thoughts probably should have gone for it more. Definitely happy with the draw, but overall should have gone for it a bit more. That's probably my overall thing. But still happy with a good draw. Away from home, the draw's always a good point, and I'd have taken it at the beginning of the day.
I think 0-0. What a great result away from home. You couldn't get better than that. Say what you said, Ollie?
I thought it was a good game. First half, yeah, I hope we had the lion's share of the play. Second half, we just nullified each other out. We could have done with putting some subs on. Disappointing, never bought anybody really in the transfer because we were crying out for the winger, somebody to get down that byline, get the ball to the byline. Some longer lone figure up front. He's crying out. He needs somebody up there. Braithwaite was on the bench. Jordan Hugo was stood there for 5, 6, 10 minutes on the bench, and he never got on. Why doesn't he put someone alongside him? Try something different. We might have got that because they weren't good. They weren't good. A point. It was a fair point at the end of the day. So joint top up the borough.
Now then, welcome back to the second part. I just switched the page off there for a minute, so typical me. I always drop myself in it and that sort of stuff, don't I? Fellas, we were talking transfer windows. Interesting couple of comments coming in regarding players coming in, going out, how we look, this sort of thing. Let's wrap it all up before we get into the Leeds game. Jackie said earlier, we're stronger in midfield, but maybe not up front. Stu Wallace, stronger collectively but lacking the flair going forward. Hopefully Braithwaite gets focused. Jackie Dawson again, if Braithwaite wants to leave, he needs to play well for another team to come in and get him. So, similar sort of comments, but the interesting one is balance. No Traore now to dominate the show, to focus on, to be the king man. We're playing better without him, aren't we?
I believe so, yeah. It's almost as if everybody else has kind of stepped up the game and taken a bit more responsibility, and they're quite happy to have the ball a bit more because Traore would get it and sort of dribble around for 10 minutes on his own. But they've kind of had to step up a bit more and successfully so, yeah.
Well, hi lads, Michelle Besford, who's going to be on the show very shortly. Let's move on to Leeds then. So, cracking game, thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved having to go to the Leeds fans. You always do, don't you? And we didn't come away with a 2-1 defeat like we did last year. 0-0 draw, Matt. Were we worthy of the 0-0?
I think we could have. It's a shame we didn't nick it. There could have been a goal in there for us, I think, because there was a good few chances there that obviously the Leeds defence and the goalie did keep them out. But yeah, I mean it was a tough 0-0. But I think really we could have come away with a win out of that. It was just a shame we didn't.
We were magnificent.
Yes. We were.
We made them look average. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. As much as it hurts to admit that Leeds are a good team and they're not falling apart again just yet, we made them look average at home.
It's coming. The Leeds, yeah.
You've got to get this Christmas and New Year.
Yeah, well, we suffer from the same problem, unfortunately, don't we? But it was probably the most entertaining 0-0 draw I can remember for a while. And like I said, two different styles of football. Leeds are playing some fantastic football at the moment. We're playing some amazing. I know this is going to sound like a contradiction in terms. We're playing some really, really fantastic defensive football, very organised team. And it could have been one of those games where both teams cancelled each other out and it was just a boring affair, bogged down in midfield. But both teams had chances and there was a lot to get excited about.
A lot of people a lot of players putting in really decent shifts.
Yeah.
Clayton, I've never seen him play as well. Well, for a while anyway, for a couple of years. I mean, he was magnificent. He was everywhere.
Definitely. I mean, when social media's buzz all around for Clayton, just how he played, and he was all over the place. He was getting stuck in. It was just like seeing a reformed player. But for that type of tempo of game, he needed to be. He couldn't. No player really slacked. They just got stuck in either end, and it was good to watch.
It was as good a performance as it was here at the Dickens at the end of 2-3 seasons ago when he was on the roof celebrating promotion. And by the way, thanks to the Dickens for having us. But not just him, because Howson ran his socks off. Besic seemed sharper and quicker than he did his first spell here. I don't know whether you picked that up or not. Maybe it was just me looking through dinosaur eyes or something.
I was looking through stellar glasses, so maybe I didn't quite pick up that much. I saw that he had a fantastic game. I wasn't kind of comparing performance for performance, but I don't think there was many poor performances that you could pick up on the pitch. I mean, just to go back to your point about Clayton, you know, both you gentlemen, do you not think Clayton's probably a bigger shout for the armband than George Friend?
There's a lot of people saying he's struggling, George. Do you see him struggling with the armband on, or?
Not so much. I think he had a decent game, but I don't think.
It's all right, wasn't it?
I mean, but yeah, I think he's doing all right for now.
I mean, I'm not saying strip him of his captaincy, he's terrible or anything, but I just think, you know, there might be a better option there in either Howson or Clayton. There has been a lot of people saying that George Friend's maybe suffering a bit from the pressure of being a captain. I don't believe that. I think Tony Pulis knows George isn't going to be a vocal leader on the pitch. He's a consummate professional, but he's not a vocal leader on the pitch. But I don't necessarily think we need that because we've got Tony Pulis, who's a vocal leader off the pitch.
Yeah, very much so.
So I don't really think that there's for me, I don't think there's an argument in the fact that, or the argument that George Friend's suffering because he's captain. I just think there's maybe a better option.
Sam McQueen coming in, he can play.
Bit of competition at left back, yeah.
Bit of competition for George. Do you see George pulling his socks up and actually putting even better performances in than we've seen, or?
They'll have to, yeah. I mean, otherwise.
Or is Sam going to be looking to play ahead of George? I don't know. I've got no idea, because he can play winger, midfield as well, can he? Left midfield.
So yeah, I mean, if his position's under threat, then you're going to have to pull your socks up, aren't you? Because you don't want to lose that position, especially you've been playing games so far.
You've got no option, have you?
You've got no option. It's with any player. You want to stay on the pitch. You've got to prove you're worthy to stay on that pitch.
A couple of your comments coming in while we're here at the Dickens. Anton Sedgman, at this time of the season, when you play the first place team, you want exactly the same as what the Borough got: a draw away any day. Or am I wrong? I think he's right, isn't he?
Can't argue with
that. If you're at the home of the team who's top. As I stated earlier, Rich Smith, 0-0, fair result on Friday night. Thanks, mate, for restating it. We do appreciate that. What do we take from the game? What do we take from going to Leeds, not crumbling, looking confident, nullifying the team that are scoring goals for fun at the moment? What are we taking out of that?
I think it's boosted. I think it's given them more of a boost, confidence, especially in the defence side of things. Because as soon as Leeds, it was great to see the defence just swarm straight down into that box. Where in the past you've seen them fall apart quite easily, but they didn't. They stuck together. They're well organised, and I think it's been a big confidence boost for them to suffer like a 0-0 draw in that type of game.
Are you surprised to see us where we are for the international break? Second, well, apart from 3 goals.
I am a little bit. Given the players that we lost in the transfer window and we didn't replace, and I'm riding that gravy train. I'm hoping the wheels don't come off it. You know.
Every game, I look at it and I go, this will be the one.
No, I'm not quite at that point. Yeah, I'm not quite at that point.
Well, maybe this will be the one, and we've had quite a few. This will be the ones now.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to believe. But then I look at it and think, look at the transfer business we've done. We've not really changed the team that much. Am I just like being Mr. Pessimist, expecting this will be the one, or am I being Mr. Optimist?
That's just being a Teessider, isn't it? We're naturally pessimistic at the best of times, yeah. But I think I'm ready to put the transfer window to bed now, and just that's it. It's done. It's finished. We've got the team that we've got. The team performing fantastically well.
Yeah.
Going away to Leeds, who were playing arguably the best attacking football in the division, not conceding. Dale Fry looked immense. He looked confident on the ball. He didn't look flustered at all. Long may it continue. I see no reason why it should change. There's no, just to touch on your confidence point. Mentally, we shouldn't fear any team in the division now.
Especially with a manager like Pulis. I mean, there's been in the past. When we brought in Monk and Karanka, you were like, yeah, Karanka, great. Monk, I didn't feel confident having him as a manager. So I was very pessimistic last season because I was thinking we ain't going straight back up this season.
He didn't seem to get an awful lot of messages out during the game, did he? He just sort of stood there in his jumper and watched what was going on.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Well, you see Pulis is up and down, bouncing around like a 30-year-old.
That's it. You're getting a great vibe out of Pulis. You're seeing it. He's really giving the players a kick up the backside to keep them confident, to keep them going on that pitch. And I've not really seen the Borough slack in the games this season so far.
You wouldn't dare, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Coming off the pitch to walk past him, he's been screaming at you for 90 minutes.
That's it, yeah.
We'll come to you shortly because you've got a few social media bits, haven't you? Just a couple of messages before that. Stu Wallace again. If George pulls his socks up, he'll probably trip over and blows a kiss. Well done, mate. Anton, who's just moved. Just off the subject, would you keep Assombalonga or would you look to replace him?
I'd keep him. I said this last season when he had a bit of a rough patch. I had faith that he would come good, and especially against Leeds, he was always off the last defender's shoulder. He was always looking for that little through ball, and I think all it takes is that right pass, and he's through. Yeah. Because he's got a bit of pace about him. He's got a bit of strength. He can shrug a defender off, and his positioning puts him in the right places to make those runs as well.
And I think with Traore going, it's given him now that spot, in the like to start proving himself a bit more. Because I think Traore was kind of stopping him, preventing him from doing such a thing, wasn't he?
He definitely took the spotlight of the whole team.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Okay. Final comment from Stu on George. He's intelligent and they've got a calm head, which is what you need as captain. Thanks for that, mate.
Yeah,
Matt, delve into the land of social media for us. What have you got?
Well, a couple of comments here. Jill is saying, loving all this Clayton acclaim. About time people recognise what he does for us. # Borough. Jason Hall, big fan of the work of police and stewards too across the country. But the way football supporters are treated like animals at away matches is a joke. It's not the 80s anymore. I'm assuming that is reference to the Leeds game.
Probably, yeah.
Alfie, let's get this straight. Leeds are a bigger club than Borough, but Borough are a better club than Leeds. And finally, Bob Mortimer, Adam Clayton, looking after business, magnificent.
Cracking. Fellas, we're almost out of time. Before we do, quick word on the Hull coach. We've got a coach going to Hull. A couple of people sending messages in saying, can you give us more details? We'll do that after the show. Chris, quick mention about Monday. We haven't got the usual social, have you? You've got a retro.
Yeah. We're going to take advantage of the international break and run a kind of a one-off RedArmy retro show. So we're going to be kind of posing a few questions to the followers and to the fans to get involved with maybe your favourite away game, your favourite memory of the Riverside early years. We're kind of going to maybe focus it on Robson era onwards, and then have a chat about it on Monday. Yeah.
Cracking. Well, fellas, thank you very much. No predictions because there's no game, so we'll all go and have a beer and do that sort of thing. We'll catch you next week. Catch you too. Bye-bye.